Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. By virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice Chancellor and Principal, I hereby declare that this congregation of the Vaal University of Technology is duly constituted for diplomas and degrees to be conferred to those students whose names appear on the program.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a congregation, you are invited to observe a moment of silence as we observe a prayer before we commence with the official program. Dear Almighty, the Omniscient One, we come before you with all humility to serve you and your people. Please guide us in everything that we say and do. Please bless each and every one of us and bless our institution. Inspire us to strive for that which is good and not to be self-seeking and serve our own interests, but let everything be done to your glory. Use us as your vessels of honor so that the fruits of our labor may endure for peace and goodwill towards all mankind. We ask this in your name. Amen. You may be seated. Welcome to the graduation ceremony of the Vaal University of Technology at the Vanderbilt Park campus. Vice Chancellor, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to welcome you as a congregation gathered here today to witness and celebrate the achievement of our students at VUT on this momentous occasion. A special word of welcome to our distinguished guests, members of staff, families, and friends. To all our diplomats and graduates, welcome to this long-awaited day. May it be everything that you hoped for. Vice Chancellor, it's my honor to present to you candidates of the Faculty of Management Sciences of the Vaal University of Technology, whose names appear on the program for the receiving of diplomas and degrees. National Diploma Labor Relations, Mashaba O.A. National Diploma Human Resources Management, Lepedi M. National Diploma Management of Training, Make M.K. National Diploma Human Resources Management, Maulsani P.P. National Diploma Human Resources Management, Morani D.J. National Diploma Human Resources Management, Odeliali O.T. National Diploma Human Resources Management, Simelani Z.P. B.Tech Business Administration. Hlangwani S.S. cum laude. Carter A. cum laude. Lansani F. cum laude. Ntembu M.N. cum laude. Celinda T. cum laude. Bernadette C. Waloy M.L. Buhendwa K.I. Dakile J. Dungus N.D. Ebuari O.M.O. Gatesiwia N.K. Shangwane L.P. Kangwenda M.G. Kasuba K.V. Khasi R.N. Khatla M.C. Kwasi L. Kashwana K. Kipli T.D.F. Kaulani M. Kawelani LP. Kubeka B. Liapeka M. Lekafola KA. Lekoni TM. Mabena DS. Maduna DP. Machivandila AA. Mafete DC. Mafio TP. Mafunza RT. Malakaro SS. Malaka MC. Malaka SP. Maleka PS. Maloka TS. Malopi KM. Mapindani NE. Masenia TH. Maserumule RM. Thank you. Thank you. Marsha M. Mashiane KM. Macheketwa N. Matsi M. Mayunatala T.I. Malambi P.J. Malanga V.H. Mpone K.W. Makatwa M.K. Thank you. Thank you. Quiet. Mochubi GMM. Modiba M. Moneng B. Moirane R.W. Moilame P.L. Mokati A.L. Magosi F.P.K. Makwena B. Mogopane T. Thank you. Makwana W.K. Molau D.P. Molefi D.L. Molepi M.I. Malloy K. Molok, thank you. Quiet now, please. Quiet. Thank you. Molokwane K. Thank you. Moneu K. Moseleseli PDA. Motsamai VM. Mpumpula S. Mauluti TJ. Mlumbini SY. Ngozo MS. Thank you. Nkambani RC. Nkosi NW. Noche KT. Intel NE. Ntuku V. Yawane G. Peter MM. Thank you. Pila K. Pine AD. Poki TR. Sambu N. Sangweni Z. Thank you. Seychelles TV. Thank you. Quiet. Shisana HG. Thank you. Quiet. Sigabi LD. Sitoli J.E. Tivani C. Tale M.S. Cleene J.K. Shabiri A. Sheshla Selane S.F. Shemasi N.A. Shivasi M.C. B.Tech Business Administration. Sotetsi Z.J. Valashia D.C. Butela P.N. B.Tech, Labor Relations Management. Modisi T. Cum laude. Mofakeng P. Cum laude. Nkomo M. Madolo Z. Mailola R. Thank you. Malaza M.M. Matenji L.K. Maulala L.B. Mokomo L.S. Moleki N.P. N.R. Molo T. Mpanga M.J.J. Mushoma S. Peter T.C. Radebe K.T. Ratsilani A. Claripe T. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Furbe LPM. Zibwawa CR. BTech, Human Resource Development, Madisha V, cum laude. MTech, Business Administration, Magister Technologia, Business Administration. With a dissertation title, The Influence of Presenteeism on Job Satisfaction and Organizational Commitment among Government Employees within the Kadu District. The supervisor is Dr. Y. van Zyl and the co-supervisor, Prof. M. Durup, Tala Ratzela Johannes. Vice Chancellor, I hereby request that you confer the diplomas and degrees in absentia on those students whose names appear in the program but could not be present here today.
I do hereby confer the degrees and diplomas in absentia on those candidates whose names appear on the program but could not be here today.
Vice Chancellor, thank you.
Can we have another round of applause for the choir, please? And can we have a second round of applause for the choir master, Mr. Vumza Nomanyana? Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My role is very simple. I'm just here to acknowledge you and also to thank you for coming. But I want to start with the parents that are sitting right here and the parents that are seated that side as well. To thank you very much, parents, for an excellent job that you have done to ensure that these diplomands and the graduates that are sitting in the middle can actually finish their diplomas and can actually finish their degrees. You funded, you provided them with the financial support, you provided them with the moral support, you provided them with the psychological support. So on behalf of this institution, I want to thank you very much for that support that you have provided to these diplomands and these graduates, and thank you very much for that. Thank you. I am aware that some of our students are fathers and mothers. They would not have gotten to where they are if their wives and their husbands and their families were not supporting them. So families, husbands and wives, I want to thank you for your unflinching support to your spouses so that today they can receive their diplomas and their degrees. So thank you very much, husbands, wives, spouses, etc. Thank you very much. And right in front of me and on the two sides, I have very, very special people sitting in front of me. These special people are the grandparents. These very special people are the magogos of the diplomands and the graduates. I think it's an honor that your grandmother and your grandfather is actually here. So grandmothers, grandfathers, we thank you very much for coming for this particular day to witness this auspicious occasion, but more so for your prayers, for your encouragement, for your spiritual support, so that your grandchildren, for some of you, your great-grandchildren can get their diplomas and their degrees. Thank you very much. And then I just want to thank the few academics that are representing the entire academics who supported these students during their 3 years. Some of us may have taken, an extra year for the diploma, and just the 1 year. Some of us may have taken a few more months for the, for the BTech. But let us thank the academics whom you thought were being cruel at times when they gave you 55, when you actually thought you needed 60%. Thank you, academics. Thank you, Executive Dean. Academics, can you stand up so that the parents can see you? Thank you. And I just want to thank my colleagues from Corporate Affairs. Some of them are not here, but I want to thank you very much. And I want to thank and acknowledge my colleagues from the Registrar's Office. We have got 2 colleagues that are doing a fantastic job in terms of putting the hoods on the shoulders of the diplomands and the graduates. Thank you very much, Sally. Thank you very much, George. I also want to thank the Chief Finance Officer, Mr. Les Kotia, who is present with us today. We thank you very much. And obviously, finally, I want to thank the Vice Chancellor. We thank you very much, VC, for being here. We thank you very much for your leadership. We thank you very much for your guidance, and we thank you very much for the vision and trajectory that you are setting for this institution. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think the choir deserves yet another round of applause. This choir is probably one of the best choirs in Africa. If you go to the Vice Chancellor's office, you will see not less than 100 trophies which have come to VUT because of this choir. And we have made arrangements for this choir to cut its CD, and it will be the second university choir that cuts a CD. The first being the Nelson Mandela University in PE, and then of course now the VUT University of Technology. The proceeds of the CD will go towards a bursary fund for the choir, because as they sing, we would want to make a special appeal even to captains of industry present here, just to dig deep into their social grants and see if they cannot do something about the choir. Because these are unspoiled African voices. My predecessor, Professor Mutana, used to say that when Africa is sad, Africa sings. When Africa is happy, Africa sings. And so that is why we have these voices. And I think they deserve another applause. We have established a championing a student fund, and thereby we would want to request everybody to support that champion a student fund, because it is so difficult for grandmothers and grandfathers to support their grandchildren with the little SASSA money that has just been increased by 90 rands. And whilst we are appreciative of what the government does, but evidently that is not enough. And so if we can touch the consciences of the people present here, we would like to say, please extend a hand of support to this university. As you have witnessed, those of you who have attended this graduation since Monday, and this is a challenge which I am putting to our men folk, almost 70% thus far who have graduated both degrees and diplomas have been women, and which shows the direction which the country is taking. And I think we really need to give our women a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Before I get to this afternoon's business, can we just rise and observe a moment of silence for the passing on of the mother of the nation, Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela. Thank you. It seems that this year has been a year in which many of the revolutionaries and the stalwarts for the freedom of this country are being called to higher service. This afternoon we have just been informed of the passing on of Mr. Zola Skweyiya, another stalwart of the African National Congress. And so it seems that the old guard of the ANC is being invited not only by Nelson Mandela, but also by O.R. Tambo, saying that you have run the race on earth. It is high time that we should now open another branch of the ANC in the world of eternity. And so we are indeed not mourning as such their lives and their passing on, but we're celebrating their achievements and the fact that we are enjoying this freedom today, which some people are really abusing because of them. And so, colleagues, I have not prepared much of a speech, but I just want to talk to you off the cuff and just reflect on the speeches which we have given thus far. When we started on Monday, we spoke about remembering your roots. The basis of that speech was simply to ignite passion in your consciences that you may have graduated today, which is fine. But most importantly, never, 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 never forget where you're coming from. Quite often when people graduate, they are called graduates, they are called diplomandis, and they don't want to be associated with a poor background. And some people would even go to the extent of rejecting publicly their parents, fathers and mothers, which is not right. That is why I said to those that came before you on Monday, remember your roots. Your roots are very important, because even the tree, for it to produce fruit, its roots have got to go down deep in order to reach the waters right at the bottom. So it is important for you. You may be having these flowers and these fruits, but if your roots are not deep, you will not be able to produce the fruits and the flowers which we see. And so, don't forget your roots. And the second speech was about the value of education in our lifetime. And there I cited Nelson Mandela when he said that education is very important, because education is the key to success, and education removes obstacles and barriers. And so today that you have achieved the qualifications which you have achieved, make sure that the value of education is not in the gowns and the hoods which you wear, but the value of education is what you do with that education. I do know that sometimes you get people with the qualifications that you have who will go about boasting in taverns and shebeens and say, look at me, you know me, I have a B.Tech from VUT. But fact of the matter is that with that B.Tech, you are embarrassing not only your parents, your community, but you are an embarrassment to yourself. And so the value of education is what you do with that qualification. And so I went on to talk about what it means to be an African. And to be an African is not the pigmentation of the skin color. To be an African is to identify yourselves with Africa. And I like Max Dupree, and I want to sensitize our white Africans here in present, that sometimes when some politicians talk about Africa and talk about Africans, many white people tend to be scared of what Africanism is all about and think that they are being excluded. Max Dupree comes to our rescue because he says the only common denominator which I have with Europe is my skin color. I'm only European because of my skin color. All said and done, I am not a European. I'm a white African because I trace my roots to Africa. I think that is very important. And so, my white colleagues, you are Africans in the true sense of the word, because you were born in Africa, your parents were born in Africa. Never mind about great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents. You were not there. But fact of the matter is that you are here, and in you runs the blood of Africa. I went on to talk about a knock at midnight. A knock at midnight, I traced 3 kinds of knocks at midnight. One, it's about a moral order, where the morals and ethics and ethos of our country seem to be going down the drain. And that requires you and I, as the African intelligentsia, to pick up the spear and show direction where this country needs to go. Particularly you, in the fields of management sciences, you've got a double responsibility. A double responsibility because the world over is looking on you. And of course, I dare say that Klaus Schwab is in fact a management sciences himself. You know, the guy that wrote the 4th Industrial Revolution. That is a challenge to all of you that follow in the footsteps of Schwab. And so, but I tried to link the knock at midnight. The other 2 are psychological order and economic order, which constitute a knock at midnight, and the extent to which you will have to respond. And then, of course, I link that to the President's State of the Nation address, when he called on each and every one of us to be sent, because he quoted very appropriately that song of Brahu Masekela, wherein he sings the lyrics saying, "Tuma mina, send me." And as you are graduating today, these academics, through whose hands you went, are saying, in order to make them proud, yes, you have passed, but to make them proud and make this university proud and make your parents proud, we are saying, we are sending you out there. Go and be the ambassadors of this university. And go out there and not only be the ambassadors of the university, but be the ambassadors of the African continent. Because your qualifications are recognized not only nationally, but they are recognized internationally. That is why we have the CHE as well as the South African qualifications framework, because your qualifications are of an international standard. And then this morning I went on, yesterday, I spoke about ethical leadership. And I quoted quite a number of instances and questions which I put to your colleagues yesterday about what constitutes ethical leadership. But very briefly, ethical leadership is about doing what is right and relevant and being prepared to stand alone in the midst of many for what you believe in. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is that you should be able to stand up straight in an upside down environment and stand for truth and justice. And this morning, I spoke about carrying the yoke of service delivery. And that wherever you go, you have to carry this yoke of responsibility. And I explained how deep the yoke should go. And so, this afternoon, very briefly, I want to talk to you about climbing a mountain. Climbing a mountain constitutes 3, if not 4, stages. As you know that there is climbing the mountain physically, where you have to prepare, because you cannot just climb Mount Kilimanjaro without having prepared. So that's a physical climbing of the mountain. But there is also an emotional side of climbing the mountain, where things sometimes don't go right and you feel emotionally drained. And the emotional climbing of the mountain, for instance, when you go to hospitals, particularly in ICU, you find people going in and out. And those that are coming out of the ward, meeting those that are going into the ward to visit their loved one. The question will be, how is he? And the response from those who are coming from the ward will say, he's climbing a mountain. Because his health or her health is not in a good state. That's the emotional side of climbing a mountain. But the third is a psychological climbing of a mountain, which could probably be linked to an emotional as well as spiritual. But the most important one that brings us here today is about the academic climbing of a mountain. Now that you've made it, remember the responsibility that goes with climbing of a mountain. You have now risen to the top of the mountain. You look down and you say, wow, I've made it. Yes, we agree, you've made it. But remember, it is not always right to remain at the top of the mountain. Your services are mostly required down there. Yes, you have climbed the mountain, but your services should not only end at the mountain. You have prepared, you have studied, you have spent sleepless nights together with your academics. They helped you to climb the academic ladder. But as you are doing so, there are people who are going to apply what we call a PhD syndrome, pull him or her down syndrome. As you are up there are those who are probably not too excited about your achievement and success, and they will attempt to pull you down. Prove them wrong. Prove them wrong. And you can only prove them wrong by doing the very best you can. And so, how will you do the very best you can? Let me quote a guy that I like the most, who has written this book. That's Jim Collins. And at the end of this, I will then leave you. Jim Collins, and I'm sure many of you have read his works, From Good to Great. But what does it mean to us today when we're talking about from good to great? Yes, indeed, you are where you are. You have moved from good, great. This is where you are. But then what it means is that we have collectively, as now the newly affirmed African intelligentsia, moved this country from good to great. And not only moving the country from good to great, but move this institution, which is your alma mater, from good to great. But evidently, move your parents from good to great. Many of you may be coming from RDP houses. Many of you might be coming from four-room houses. But some of you may, in fact, be coming from mikukus. And so it's your responsibility to say, with the education that I have today, I am going to take my parents out of that mikuku and build a mansion for them. And so when you do that, you will in fact be taking them from good to great. But from great to better. From better to awesome. From awesome to auspicious. From auspicious to ostentatious. From ostentatious to incredible. From incredible to remarkable. From remarkable to fantastic. From fantastic to fabulous. And from fabulous to magnificent. And from magnificent to majestic. And from majestic to splendid. And from splendid to spectacular. And from spectacular to evolutionary. From evolutionary to revolutionary. And from revolutionary to victory. And from victory to contentment. And from contentment to tetelestai. I thank you. I thank you. Can we all rise for the singing of the national anthem? Before we dissolve this congregation, I would like parents and relatives to remain seated whilst the graduates remain standing. Now, a trick to this one would be the graduates and the diplomands to take out their certificates and hold them in their right hands. And then where you are, you turn on the side of your parents and relatives and you raise your certificate and say, "Thank you." And then finally, a big thank you needs to go to your academics. Thank you very much. And now, by virtue of the powers vested in me as Vice Chancellor and Principal, I now dissolve this congregation of the VUT University of Technology. Somebody